secondary school, I felt really insecure about my body, and I felt really insecure about how I expressed myself. I felt like everyone had secretly learned how to be a girl, and it just did not come natural to me at all. And I tried wearing makeup a couple of times, and I tried wearing skirts and wearing dresses, but I always just felt like I looked ridiculous. And when I came out, I thought that that would make me feel better about the way that I look and the way that I dress, because LGBT plus people are supposed to value more different types of body shapes and body presentations. But I still see a lot of LGBT plus communities that idealize white bodies, and often LGBT plus people of colour aren't even recognised as LGBT plus. So I've walked into a lot of rooms where people assume that I'm in the wrong place or I've got the wrong door, because they just can't imagine that there are LGBT plus people who look like me. When I started dating my girlfriend, I hadn't really come out to my parents properly, but I really wanted them to know that I was dating someone, because she's obviously a very important part of my life and she makes me really happy, and I wanted to share that with my parents. So I sent a picture of the two of us at a concert, which was all before COVID, and I explained that this is who I'm in a relationship with. And I was really nervous about what they were going to say, but they actually responded really well. And first my mum said, that's really nice, can I meet her when I come to visit, or do you think that that would be too soon? And then my dad responded, just saying, I'm really happy for you, you both look radiant in the picture, and I wish you both a lot of happiness. And neither of them even mentioned the fact that I'm dating a girl, and it didn't feel like it was a big deal to them at all. And I think a lot of the time when people of colour talk about LGBT plus, about being LGBT plus publicly, there is such an audience for hardship, and there's such an audience for really difficult family relationships. But for a lot of people, there actually can be a lot of love in our families as well, and it's really important to share those stories too.
July evening when I decided to watch a coming-of-age movie called The Half of It. I felt seen when I first watched it and followed the journey of Ellie Chu as she navigated between her different identities, from being a closeted lesbian to being a Chinese American. I was so excited when I saw small moments like Ellie's cravings for uncommon Asian snacks, because it highlighted to me that being a lesbian was not because of Western influence, which I believed in my childhood. The portrayal of the intersection of race and sexuality indicated that the connection with my culture did not have to be weakened by my sexuality. For many years I felt shame for who I was, for liking girls and for going against the norm. I barely saw any positive LGBT plus representation in the media, let alone a gay Chinese woman that I could relate to. But when I saw this film, it normalized this characteristic for me, to the point that I was able to come out to my friends. Representation supported me in my own journey of self-love and acceptance, because it helped me to realize that I wasn't alone.